All right, boy, what you think? You go play? Good boy. So welcome back. This here is an episode that I'm kind of a little excited about because it's something I am passionate about, and I know a lot of y'all are as well. So first and foremost, happy Thanksgiving to everybody that celebrated it. Today is actually Thanksgiving here, but we don't have the majority of our family coming in to celebrate it with us for a couple of more days. So I've got just a little bit of time to kill before the first of our family starts arriving, and I have been volunteered to do some smoking and cooking this weekend. I've been doing that multiple times a week, and I need wood for it. So historically, I have always split and made my own smoking or cooking wood, with the exception of apple wood, because there's just no apple trees down here in Florida to go harvest that wood from. So that's what today's episode's about. I have got a system set up on how I have been cutting certain size chunks for smoking in my new Masterbuilt gravity smoker, and I've got a system set up for how I store it. So I'm going to show you that today. We're going to do 4 different kinds of smoking wood here in this episode. Well, sadly, it turns out that last piece of pecan wood that I have, well, it's no good. But I kind of expected that. I used up the rest of what I had over the last few years. Now, pecan wood, I typically only use for things like fish. It has a relatively strong flavor, and I do not use the bark of it. I try to avoid that when I can, because that can give somewhat of a bitter flavor as well. But it is an excellent smoking wood for fish. I'm not doing a whole lot of fish right now, so I guess we're going to have to skip that. Now, as y'all seen, I had a little bit of leftover hickory. Luckily, I've already got quite a bit over here in a rack that is busted down. That's what I'm grabbing right now, and it's very well seasoned. Hickory is not extremely common here, but we do find it. This is some oak right here. Actually, this is red oak out of some slabs that I've had drying for the last year. I smoke with any kind of oak, whether it be live oak, water oak, red oak, does not matter. Whatever I can get my hands on. Oak is by far our most common wood in this area that all our restaurants use to smoke with, because it's such an abundant tree here. Another type, and probably my favorite wood that there is cherry. You can tell by this gorgeous color that it has right here. This is very well seasoned cherry, extremely light. I love the way it colors the meat up. It actually gives it a color much like this. It burns really well, seasons quickly. It's wonderful in a campfire because it pops, it crackles, just what do you expect to hear for a fire. But you got to be careful burning this stuff inside for the fear of the embers going everywhere. And it also has a mild kind of sweet flavor, kind of like an apple wood, although apple wood is much sweeter. But this is probably my most common smoking wood, the cherry. It's just a good blend and mix between something sweet like apple and something that has a little more smoke profile and flavor like an oak. All right, put a couple more pieces of this hickory up here. I think that'll easily fill up the way that I store this. And I'm gonna grab a few more pieces of cherry. We're good. I have one more wood waiting back up at the barn. All right, buddy, load up. Boy. Okay, so here is what I have discovered works so very well for me. I have saved a bunch of these old paint buckets from working on the house. I have lids for all of them. And what I'll do is set up 4 different buckets, maybe 5 or 6, depending on how much wood I'm planning on using. Put the lid on and label it. I'll show you that here in a second. But you can see what I'm trying to accomplish is, well, fist-sized chunks of this smoking wood here. And I want some smaller ones and some bigger pieces, as well as a few little odd fall-off pieces, depending on where I'm at with the smoke and my cook up there, if I want to get some real quick smoke or some longer lasting chunks like this that burn down and burn slower. So that's kind of what I'm shooting for right here. Now on my traditional smoker, my Oklahoma Joe, what I would typically do is take a piece just like this, cut it right in half, call it good, because I can actually fit that in there. But because these chunks right here go into my Masterbuilt gravity smoker in the same chamber that has my charcoal, they need to be able to kind of gravity feed and fall down along with the charcoal itself. If you were to do very large pieces, well, they hang up and that won't work. So huge shout out and thank you to Mr. Thomas. He's a viewer of the channel. Y'all seen a while back, I went over toward Panama City and picked up some very generous items that was offered by 2 different viewers. And this bandsaw right here was one of those items. And I started using it a while back to cut up these chunks and realized it works so very well. This is the proper tool to use to do this. So I've already got me a half full bucket right here of oak. So we're gonna go ahead and finish cutting some oak. Just down on the ground, fill this up, and then just move on to the next type of wood. I'm amazed how quick this little saw cuts. All right, so there is 1 bucket ready to go. That'll get me through quite a few cooks, and I actually already have some more buckets of oak stored in the shop. All right, so now I'll just snap a lid on to help keep that moisture out, and write what it is right here on the top. All right, and last but not least, I have some apple wood here. I'm having to buy this, online because, well, like I said, we're just not in an area where you see people grow apple trees. That's more of an up north thing. So I've been experimenting where to get apple wood at a cheap price. I got this online, but I didn't realize it comes in these much larger chunks right here, so I'm gonna have to cut these down. I did buy a large bag of Kingsford applewood chunks. I think it was at Home Depot, and they were already cut up to the size that I need. That's probably what I'll go back to. Now, I've started using applewood thanks to a viewer that recommended it. It's just never been a common wood here, and I love the sweet flavor and color that it gives porks, chickens, poultry, things like that. It's similar to me to a cherry, but this is even sweeter and a little more flavorful. All right, well, after about an hour of my time splitting down there and cutting up here, I have, what is this? 5 full buckets with a good mixture in it and a partial bucket over here that I'm gonna go ahead and fill up the smoker with, because I am smoking a bacon wrapped pork loin tonight, and then I'm doing a spatchcock turkey this weekend for our actual Thanksgiving get together. So that's gonna be a first for me. I'm thinking some of this apple over here is gonna go perfect with that. But overall, this will last me through quite a few cooks. The cherry and apple is what I use the most of, and I don't mind oak at all. It's the hickory that I'll save for certain types of cook. Same thing I do with the pecan wood. I did not get as much apple wood out of that bag as what I felt like I should have for what I paid for it. So I'm probably going to continue to smoke with, well, this beautiful, wonderful cherry that I get right here off of the property. And occasionally, as I catch some of that applewood on sale, I'll buy me a bag or two. Now, I've been running some of the LSS mods in my smoker. I'm actually about to release a full video on that. I have hours and hours of cook time on those mods, many different cooks, but I can tell you one thing that does seem to be working is this elevated grate in here. And that is why I have started cutting my applewood chunks at just all different random sizes. This would fit up here in this hopper no problem, but it's getting toward the larger end. I don't want hanging up in here and bridging. So what this elevated grate right here allows me to do is throw some of these larger chunks in right beneath this burn chamber right here where all the embers are, and it'll go ahead and ignite these and kind of give me instant smoke for my cook. So that's why I don't mind getting all different random size chunks. Some to go up top, some to go ahead and put down here. I'm gonna go ahead and load this up since I'll be cooking in just a few hours here. All right, well, that's gonna wrap this episode up. Like I said, we have family coming over. I'm about to enjoy that. I'm gonna take the rest of this afternoon off, do a little cooking, and then get ready to do this big turkey cook this weekend. This wood is definitely gonna help me out for that. So this is how I make my smoking wood now. Thanks to this tool and these buckets, it's just a really good storage solution. Works really well for doing different types of cooks. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.